Hi, and welcome to Struggle is Real. My name is Victoria, and every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I sit down and write for just 10 minutes, and I'm doing so to create a sustainable writing habit for myself and someone out there who might need it too. Even though this 10 minutes sound like a minuscule amount of time, I noticed that it sounds very simple, but simple things doesn't necessarily mean that they're easy. In fact, they're quite difficult, and I keep repeating myself while something as 10 minutes sounds simple, showing up every time, at the same hour, regardless what's happening in your life or outside the life, it has been really interesting social experiment for myself personally because I was curious what would happen if I just do it, if I just show up and just do the minimum amount. Well, minimum amount will be 2 to 5 minutes. We're doing 10 minutes. If you're here, if you're joining me, if you're a late joiner, I welcome you. I'm so glad that you're here and you're going to try this with me. So, we're doing this for different types of writers. I call this write with me, but in order to sit down and write together, you don't have to be someone who officially calls themselves a writer. I wanted to offer this tool of a short period of writing to people who are working in academia, people who have job applications, people who have deadlines in their school, and it's especially it's winter time. I'm on East Coast. I don't know where you are, but it's cold and it's a little not so easy for everyone. And while I noticed that journaling could be, it's not easy, but it's much easier than working on your PhD paper, because while you journal, you can snooze or you can start doodling. Well, you cannot be doodling on your academic paper. So while we are doing some creative stuff, I would like to also invite others who need a little break to reboot their brain. This is a great opportunity. This works, even though I did not believe it myself. When I started doing it, it actually started working in my life as well. So I picked two topics for today. And one of them is what would you do if you could get away with it? I know it sounds a little grim, it's serious, but that's the question I'm going to be asking today. One of the questions. Instead of 3 prompts, we'll be doing 2. These 2 will be polar opposites, and bear with me. So when we sit down and I go back to the basics, and I keep quoting Margaret Atwood because she's amazing. We sit down, and my main goal is to write as if nobody will ever read it. It has to be so honest, it has to be so raw, and it has to come out my heart in order for it to make some sense. Also, that doesn't necessarily mean that it will make sense. It's just a matter of habit of writing as if you're certain that this is your biggest secret and nobody will ever know it. Nobody will ever has a chance to judge it, because creatives often fear of judgment, but at the end of the day, the biggest judges are ourselves, who our inner critic is judging ourselves. So for that reason, practicing writing the truth, whatever the truth it is for you today, is a great way to getting out of that. And it's basically the same thing when people say dance as if nobody's watching. Again, it sounds so simple. Yeah, let's dance as if nobody's watching. But how many times in your life have you actually danced so freely that you know how it is? We know how it is theoretically, but I have danced maybe a couple of times as if nobody was watching. I'm pretty sure someone was watching. Well, sometimes I danced in my apartment, which is really great way to shake it out. But did I ever dance exactly, like, surely so freely that I was certain nobody else was watching? It didn't even consciously go through my mind, but now that we're talking about it, I might think about it, I might experiment with it. Just a simple act of dancing. It's so harmless, but how often do we do that? And how often do you write the truth on paper? because admitting the truth, even to oneself, is really difficult. Another thing I want to touch base on this topic is the truth. People also are very hard on themselves about the truth on their paper because they think there's an absolute truth out there, but no, it can change day by day. And like Oprah says, only you know your truth. So, for example, if something you're aware of today, you were not aware of it yesterday. So you don't know what you don't know. And if you accept that, or let me talk about myself. I'm not gonna say what you gotta do. Like, it's a matter of speaking, I guess. And once I started accepting that, it will be ever changing, ever revolving concept, because, well, facts don't change. However, you'll be surprised when you change the perspective. Some facts appear differently. Well, facts themselves don't change. They appear that have changed. Anyway, what matters is that you do what you want to do in order to get what you want to get wherever you're going to, whatever your goal is out of this. Or maybe you just feel like journaling. Maybe you just by accident ended up here. It's all up to your free will, and it's all up to your choice. And it also sounds so simple, but choices are hard to make. The second prompt that we'll be doing today is, well, this one sounded a little bit dark, right? What would you do if you could get away with it? People immediately think about crime or illegal thing. It doesn't have to be that bad. It can be a lot of twisted things that you don't want to talk about. So it's all you. Also, again, when I started this show, I was saying you can always throw away this piece of paper that you create in 10 minutes, or burn it, or tear it up and just throw it away to make sure that nobody will ever get their hands on it. So moving on, the second prompt will be, what is your biggest dream? And now when I say this, the second prompt, what is your biggest dream? And if we look at them side by side, they sound so different from each other. They're polar opposites, because the first one, it's by default sounds so negative, so dark, cold. Like I'm expressing how I hear it, because my social programming, immediately I by default see this as a negative thing. But why would I need to get away with it if it was a good thing? You would not even think about it, right? Obviously, it has to be something shameful and bad and dark and something really interesting. Well, some dark things could be interesting. And the other one, what is your biggest dream? And immediately I can see sunshine and flowers and birds are chirping and life is great and it's warm and it's fuzzy. And how come is that when both of these things are the same in their nature? Like their nature is they're both desires. The difference is like they're different in degrees. It's like hot and cold water. Like this, the purple prompt here on my screen, it's like the cold water, and the biggest dream thing, it's like the warm water. The only difference is how much space is between them, and how are you gonna move from one to another. And I think that the big difference is that one is based on fear and shame, whatever, and the other one is on hope and joy. So I'm not sure if I conveyed my message, but I have a lot of time. I'll be coming back on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. and I'll be expanding and bringing back old topics and talking about them in different ways. This is why I like this space. I'm getting really creative and it's so much fun. And today I decided that we're gonna have 2 prompts, and I think going forward we'll just do 2 prompts at a time. I think it's gonna be a new experiment. So today it's a winter day. Maybe if you're in Florida or California, you probably don't have winter, you're fine. But on East Coast, it's a winter day, it's a cold day, it's a snowy day. I'm mostly stuck at home, which is not fun. So, what would I choose today? It's the question that I was asking myself earlier. What would I want to write about today? Something that I would like to do in a sneaky way and get away with it, and put my energy there. Do I need to? Sometimes, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes we can go there. We need to go there, but then there are other times that not always need to go there. So I've written about this topic a lot. And so for me, first time I think in life, I'm going to admit that I'm going to write about my dreams, my biggest dreams. Because I somehow, talking about all of this, ended up going to the upper trajectory. So the question is, which one are you going to choose and write about today? Whichever you choose, they're all correct choices. They're all your choices. So, with that, we will be writing for 10 minutes. For those who are going to be joining us late, I'm going to make sure they understand what's happening. And I even have a countdown timer. And I wish you a lot of fun, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. And our wonderful 10 minutes, minuscule 10 minutes. I think I'm minimizing. I should not call it minuscule. It's a long 10 minutes for sometimes, especially when you don't feel like writing. This is my 15th not live. I guess I started with just recordings. This is my 15th show. I love calling it show. I will not stop doing that, I guess. And I remember a few times I could not get myself to write anything. So I was just doodling. I was sitting here because I have to be here. I can't just like log off and say bye, guys. And that's okay too. That's okay too. It's like baby steps. And thank you for being here. And thank you for joining later. And thank you for coming back. And if not, thank you for being with me. And have a wonderful, safe, warm next week.